Welcome back to Quiet Was Never Safe. Today we're talking about something that gets skipped in almost every survivor story. Everyone talks about how you left, how you survived, how it got dangerous, how you finally broke the cycle. But almost no one talks about what happens after. After the court dates, after the adrenaline fades, after the crisis calms down. We're talking about the part after. The part where everyone thinks you're suddenly okay, but inside you're just staring at your life like, who the hell left me unsupervised with adulthood? You would think the quiet feels peaceful, like some movie moment where soft music plays and everyone feels healed. No. The quiet felt like standing in a room after an explosion. Everything looks calm, but your body is still waiting for the next blast. And that's the thing nobody prepares you for. Your brain can know you're safe, but your nervous system, it's still living 6 months behind you. I remember sitting on the couch in silence thinking, why does this feel wrong? Why does quiet feel suspicious? Why does peace feel like a setup? Because survival doesn't turn off instantly. It has to be slowly unwired. I became so hyper aware, I swear I could have been hired by Homeland Security. A door creaked, I jumped. A car slowed down near my house. I was peeking through the blinds like a nosy grandma. A text message notification, immediate anxiety. And honestly, it wasn't even him most of the time. But my body didn't care. My body still thought that he was everywhere. I used to walk into Target like a trained operative, scanning every aisle, mapping exits, tracking strangers' energy. It wasn't paranoia, it was conditioning. That's the part outsiders don't get. They think leaving means the danger ends. But for survivors, leaving means your brain starts the hardest job of its life, trying to learn safety that it has never actually known. Nobody tells you how strange it is to suddenly have control over your life again. I remember trying to pick out a food at the grocery store like, what do I even like? Do I like this? Or did he like this? Even clothes, music, my personality felt unfamiliar. Healing isn't just rebuilding your life, it's reintroducing yourself to yourself. And then there's that moment someone is nice to you. A man held a door open for me at a gas station and I almost lost it. I was like, what do you want from me, sir? When you've lived in survival mode, kindness feels suspicious. Affection feels unsafe. Stability feels boring. And boring feels dangerous. And this part still hits me. In my very first relationship, the one that almost killed me, he used to tell me, when you're around your friends, you act different. Your personality changes. And he said it like it was a bad thing. Like he caught me doing something wrong, like I was being fake or messy or disloyal. I remember feeling so confused. I was like, what does that even mean? How am I supposed to act? Is there only one version of me that I'm allowed to be? I didn't understand it back then, but now I understand it perfectly. He wasn't pointing out a flaw in me, he was pointing out a freedom in me. Around my friends, I laughed too loud. I talked too much. I was confident. I was myself. And abusers hate the parts of you that they can't control. When he said my personality changed, what he really meant was, I'm losing control of the parts of you I haven't broken yet. And here's the thing, healthy people have different sides. You're supposed to be sillier around your friends, softer with your kids, more guarded at work, more open with people you love. That's not being fake, that's being human. But he wanted one version of me, the version that catered to him. So when I left, I had to re meet the versions of me he shamed out of existence: the loud me, the funny me, the soft me, the strong me, the me I was before trauma rewired my whole personality. Rebuilding meant meeting all of me again and learning none of those versions were wrong. That's identity work. That's healing. Then there's this grief nobody prepares you for. Not really grief for him, but grief for the version of you who never got to feel safe. Grief for the little girl who learned chaos before she learned comfort. Grief for the woman who made survival look effortless, even when it was killing her. Grief for every year your body lived on edge because it thought danger was normal. And then there's the grief no one ever talks about. You grieve the man you created in your head, the man you hoped he would be, the man he pretended to be, the man you kept trying to believe in long after he stopped existing. Leaving doesn't just break your heart, it breaks the fantasy you built to survive. And someone once told me, leaving a relationship means going through the same 5 stages of grief as losing someone. Except grieving someone who's alive is so much harder. Because when they die, the story ends. But when they're alive, you're grieving the loss of the man who never actually existed, while the real one is still out there, hurting people, pretending, still being the version that destroyed you. That kind of grief is confusing. It's heavy. It's disorientating. And rebuilding meant teaching myself every single day, you're not in danger anymore. You're allowed to rest. You don't have to brace yourself today. You can just exist. And let me tell you, existing, existing is harder than surviving at first. Because survival, it's automatic. Healing, it's intentional. People celebrate you leaving. They say, you're so strong now. They think freedom fixes everything. But they don't see you crying in your car in the HEB parking lot because your nervous system is finally slowing down and the silence feels terrifying. They don't see the confusion, the shaking, the overwhelm, the grief. Grief for the version of you who never felt safe. Grief for the life you imagined. Grief for the love you deserved but never received. Grief for the person you became just to survive someone who was supposed to love you. And that grief is part of rebuilding. It's painful, but it's necessary and it's transformative. A funeral for the life you were taught to settle for, and the beginning of the one you're finally allowed to build. You ever have someone say, you're doing so much better? And you're like, I cried in the grocery store because they didn't have my favorite cereal. Healing isn't linear. It's a drunken line drawn on a napkin at 2 a.m. Healing comes in waves. Some days I felt invincible. Some days I felt like a newborn deer on ice. Some days I was like, I am that woman. Other days, I could barely open mail. But that's rebuilding. You fall apart and build again, and fall apart and build again, until one day you look around and realize, my life doesn't look like a disaster anymore. And the signs are so small at first. You laugh without checking to see who's listening. You sleep through the night and wake up confused. You buy something because you liked it. You stop explaining yourself. You stop apologizing for things that aren't your fault. And then you start dreaming again. Not big dreams yet, just little ones. Maybe I could rest today. Maybe I can try something new. Maybe I do deserve good things. That's when I knew I was healing, when it didn't feel like I was being hunted anymore. There comes a moment, a quiet, sacred moment when you realize, I'm not surviving anymore. I'm rebuilding. And it hits you like a wave. You start saying no without apologizing. You start choosing yourself without guilt. You stop shrinking to make others feel comfortable. You stop explaining why you left. You stop proving that you're a good mom. You just become you. That's the power they never expected you to find. So if you're listening and you're somewhere in this stage, rebuilding, relearning, rediscovering. I want you to hear this. Nothing is wrong with you. You're not behind. You're not weak. You're not crazy. You're healing. And healing is not a straight line. It's a fight. It's a rebirth. It's a victory every single day you show up. The first 90 days nearly destroyed me. But the 90 days after that, they built me. Brick by brick, boundary by boundary, choice by choice. I rebuilt my peace, my identity, my motherhood, my voice, my life. And I'm still rebuilding, loudly, proudly, unapologetically. This is Quiet Was Never Safe, and look at me now.